Nothing really prepares you for the olive groves of Andalucia. They call this part of Spain the olive capital of the world. It is easy to understand why. They are everywhere, 360 degrees of olives. To the people in this region, olives are everything. It's been like this for generations. Emilio de la Torres learned about olives from his father.
The olive is my future. It's what I eat. I have been with the olive since I was a little boy. It's what I do. It's how I live.
These olive trees stretch for 100 miles in every direction. It's hard to believe that the world's financial crisis would even have an impact on a place like this, but it has. Olives gathered here in the fields are taken to processing plants which make olive oil. Spain makes more olive oil than any country in the world, but the price of that olive oil has dropped 35% in a year. Why are prices plunging? As we'll explain later, it has nothing to do with the olive farmers or even Spanish shoppers, but the supermarkets where they shop. Angeles Rodriguez has been tracking the olive oil market on the internet. He owns thousands of olive trees, which explains why he spends a lot of time doing this. He showed me how much things have changed. Angeles owns the olive groves that Emilio works in. Neither of them have faced a crisis like this, and between them, they've got 40 years of experience with olives.
I'm angry. All of this is being caused at an international level, and here I am, standing in the middle of my field, feeling this.
Watch this machine. It's critical to the olive harvest. It clamps onto the trunk and violently shakes the olives off the branches. It's a bit like what has happened to the olive industry in Spain. It has been shaken to its very foundations. The industry is made up of thousands of independent growers, some big, some small. They all depend on getting a good price for every ton of olives they deliver. But with the price of olive oil down, they aren't getting a good price. Jose Gilibert is one of the smaller growers, and like many others, he is having a very bad year. He says they are lucky to get €1.80 for a kilo of olives, enough to break even.
It cost us more than 180, or more than €2 to make 1 kilo.
So you can't make any money?
We don't make any money, of course.
This father and son took out a big loan 2 years ago to buy some new equipment. Now they are struggling to make the payments.
We assumed things would keep going the same, maybe a bit down, but so low, we never thought it would happen.
The people in olive country come from traditional, close-knit communities, and they are feeling the effects of this downturn. Jose's wife, Leonor, is worried.
I'm extremely dependent on the olive oil industry, and so are the people around me. This is paying our mortgage.
In the towns and villages, the mood is grim.
It's a disaster. We feel abandoned by God. The government has to do something, or it's only going to get worse.
Perhaps the most frustrating thing for the farmers is that they know the demand for olive oil is as high as ever in Spain and around the world. But most of their olives are used to make olive oil for domestic consumption, and 80% of the domestic market is controlled by just 4 big buyers, and they set the price. The big 4, as they are called here, are the Spanish supermarkets, trying to stay competitive with a global financial crisis hitting their home turf. The big supermarkets in Spain face a challenge encouraging buying when all people want to do these days is try to save money. And that is where olive oil comes in. In Spanish, the word is gancho. In English, we would say bait.
The supermarkets use cheap olive oil to attract shoppers. And when the shoppers are there, then they go and buy other things.
Which isn't necessarily bad news if you're trying to lower your food bill. But it's devastating for the people in the olive industry. They say it is a big factor in driving the price of oil in the Spanish market down, through the floor, as one farmer put it.
It's shameful. We're all working hard, and then they do this.
As the man said earlier, it is a disaster. Because in this corner of the country, everyone lives because of the olives. For World Focus, I'm Martin Seemungal in Andalucia, Spain.